Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. So today we're going to be reviewing what the Toronto Maple Leafs did at the NHL entry draft. So they started the draft off with 7 picks and they ended up making 10. So let's review here. Obviously, everybody knows the Toronto Maple Leafs won the NHL draft lottery and were fortunate enough to end up picking Gavin McKenna. So he projects as a first-line winger, and hopefully he can replace the output, the hole that was left by Mitch Marner. So he has elite vision, elite passing. He's very competitive. He pretty much the best player in this draft. I don't think a lot of people would say otherwise. Some people had a few other guys like maybe Stenberg as a top guy, but most people unanimously pick Gavin McKenna as a first overall pick. So as a Leaf fan, I am ecstatic to have him on the team. But everybody knows about Gavin McKenna, so let's move on to all the other maybe lesser known prospects that the Leafs ended up picking. So there was a big gap from when they went from first to their next pick, which was 60th, the end of the second round. They ended up picking a player by the name of Alex Bilecki. So he has some decent size. He projects to be a top 4 puck mover. So probably ended up being maybe power play 2 player. Hopefully get some offense out of him. He has some good stats. So that is exciting at the second round there. And then 9 picks later, they picked another defenseman by the name of Ethan McKenzie. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it is because he was on the World Junior team for Team Canada. Now, he projects to be a two-way defenseman, so a bit of like, let's say, McCabe type, for example. He is an overager, so he ended up early in the third round, and fortunate that the Leafs got him. So that's exciting. So maybe he'll make the Marlies next year because he is a bit older. Next, only 4 picks later. Okay, so the next 2 picks, actually, the Leafs ended up getting these when they traded for Brendan Carlo with St. Louis. So if you haven't seen that video, I just posted earlier. I'll post it right here. So essentially, St. Louis had three third-round picks, and they traded 2 of them to Toronto for Brendan Carlo. So with the first pick, the Leafs ended up making a pick for Zach Olson, which is a right winger. He is a physical grinder, and he projects to be one of those bottom 6 energy type guys. So that's exciting. He's got some good size as well. It's a pretty good theme for most of the draft, as is with the next pick that they made 3 picks later. Fantastic name, by the way, Mans Gunnarsson. What a name, eh? Mans. That's awesome. So he projects to be a shutdown defenseman. So we have a offensive defenseman, we have a two-way defenseman, and a shutdown defenseman. So kind of like one of each type that you could get as far as defensemen go. So that is exciting. So next, the 4th third-round pick that the Leafs had, which was a pretty good run. So from 60 to 85, they had 5 picks. So that was pretty exciting. They had a bit of a run on goalies. So at 85, they picked a goalie by the name of Juuso Einasto. So I don't have a whole lot on him other than he is a big goalie from Finland. So that's always exciting. You like to see some size when your team drafts goalies. Now with the next pick in the 4th round, the Leafs ended up picking a player by the name of Patriks Plumins. So he is from Latvia, and he actually ended up starring for Team Latvia at the Under-18 tournament. So he apparently stole a bunch of games for them, played very well. So he would, of course, be competing to be the starting goalie for Latvia at the World Juniors in about 6 months from now. The favorite is a guy by the name of Vic Vanags. I have a hard time saying that name. But anyways, those would be the 2 goalies most likely for Team Latvia. So that's exciting. Now for the last 3 picks at 158 in the 5th round, the Leafs picked center Cooper Williams. Not to be mistaken for William Cooper, because I did make that mistake earlier, and I was like, what the heck is this? This is not a goalie, this is a center. So anyways, Cooper Williams, he projects to be a two-way center. He's got some size. He is a double overager. He actually does have some pretty good stats, but since he is 20 years old, I would imagine that's why he fell down the rankings, so maybe he didn't have a very good season when it was his draft year, so maybe that would explain why he fell down to where he did, because he is almost a point per game in the WHL, so that is exciting. He is 20 years old, so I would figure he would also most likely end up playing for the Marlies next season or the ECHL team as well. Who knows, right? Next, okay, so there was another trade that the Leafs made on day 2. So what they did is the Leafs traded a 2027 fifth-round pick to Vancouver for this year's 2026 sixth-round pick. So the Leafs ended up trading a pick from the future by dropping down 1 round for number 161 in the draft. Now, I didn't know a whole lot about this guy, but doing a little bit of research, it is pretty exciting. A player by the name of Yero Fedoseev. He is a right shot D, two-way, physical, some good size, and he's already played a few games in the KHL. So that is always enticing when a teenager can make the KHL, which is widely seen as the second best league in the world after the NHL. So that's always nice to see a teenager in the KHL. So the Leafs obviously really wanted him. They traded a pick from next year's draft to pick this guy in the 6th round. I'm sure they figured someone else was going to take a shot at him in the 6th or 7th round. So they went and they got their guy. So that is exciting. And then with the last pick that they made in the draft, 8 picks later at 169, they picked a center by the name of Brody Pepoy, who seems to be, he's got some size, he's physical, he's probably one of those bottom 6 guys, probably good at face-offs. I don't know a whole lot about him, but just looking at his stat card, that's what I'm seeing right now. So overall, pretty excited with what the Leafs did, of course, with Gavin McKenna, but they got a whole haul of picks after that, 9 other players after Gavin McKenna, which is exciting because the Leafs have not made a whole lot of picks lately in the last couple drafts because they've been trading draft picks away. So it is good to see them fill the cupboard back, even though they did win the Marlies Calder Cup in the AHL. So there's, of course, some prospects on that team that are probably ready to make the jump to the NHL. And then, of course, you have a whole whack of players here that could hopefully replenish the Marlies, especially some of these overagers, excuse me. Because I would imagine most of these guys are going to go back to junior or the respective European leagues. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. This snake here is another one of my ball pythons. It is my dreamsicle female. She is very pretty. One of the nicest looking snakes that you can get in the hobby. So if you like these hockey breakdowns and maybe you want to see some more of my pet snakes, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.